Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today for my Try It Out Tuesday on Monday. The reason I'm doing it on Monday is because I have a project due tomorrow. And so we're just, instead of skipping my Try It Out Tuesday, I thought I'd push it to a Monday. But we're going to use this stamp set from Avery Elle. It's super cute. It's called Stuck on You. And when they are that small, I can pick up the coordinating die. So we'll be using both of those today. Now normally I stamp first and then create my card, but today we're going to work on the background first, and I'm going to be using this stencil. This stencil is from Kaisercraft, and it's actually part of a 12 by 12 template. It was huge, but there's 4 different panels on one 12 by 12 plastic stencil. What I did was just cut it down in quarters to create 4 stencils, and the price point on it was fantastic. It was cheaper than typically what one stencil would cost, and so that's where I got this stencil at, and I'll leave links to everything I use down below in case you guys want to know a little bit more about it. But we're going to stencil on some Nina 80-pound Desert Storm cardstock, and I'm taking a double stitch rectangle die and cut out a panel that's going to be slightly smaller than my card base. I'm taping it down to the back side of my stencil here. Now I'm going to grab, boy, I missed my glass mat, but this is Ranger's Texture Paste. I'm just using a craft spatula, and I'm going to go over my stencil with it. We're going to create some white wood grain texture in the background. After we have our texture paste spread nice and evenly, we're going to remove it from the stencil carefully, and then we'll remove the tape. Sometimes there's a little texture paste overhanging. I just take my craft knife or craft spatula, I think that's what they're called, and I just go along the edges to smooth it out. Now we're going to set that aside to dry. It's going to take a little bit of time, so I thought we'll do our stamping. So we're going to take both the Cactus. I'm going to stamp them on some Nina 80-pound cardstock with my Memento Tuxedo black ink, and then we're going to color in these images with Copic markers. Just going to zoom in and we'll get to coloring. Now normally I color with music, but I thought for one of my New Year's resolutions, I thought I'll try my hardest to chit chat a little bit with you guys while I color. I'm not a big chit chatter, but I thought I would kind of push myself out of my comfort zone and chat a little while. I hope Santa was good with you guys this year. My husband had actually got me a few crafty goodies that I've been wanting for a while. He got me a Gemini Junior, and I actually used it for this card, and it was fabulous. Loving that. And then I also got a full-size Misty. I have my mini Misty, and it's had better days, but I can't get background stamps in it, and so I wanted a larger one, and so he got me one of those. So I hope your Christmas was wonderful. Thank you for all your lovely Christmas wishes. They were fantastic and so wonderful. They always make me happy. Thank you so much for sharing them with me. Okay, coloring is done, and I got through it. Yes! Now, in the stamp set, there's 2 little happy faces. I'm going to use some VersaFine Onyx black ink, and I'm going to stamp them on my little cacti here. There are 2 different kinds. Super cute. Okay, now we're going to stamp our sentiment. I chose the sentiment that says looking sharp. I'm going to stamp it on some black cardstock, so I did go over it with my anti-static powder tool. Stamped it with some Versamark ink, and then we're going to go over the top of that with some white embossing powder, and then using my heat gun I melted that. Now we're going to separate our dies here, and we're going to do a little die cutting. And this is the first time that I actually get to use my Gemini Junior, and I have to tell you, it cuts so nice. My goodness. I have an electric die cutting machine. It's an Evolution, but you have to hold it down and you have to add quite a bit of pressure. And so I just set it aside and just use my manual one. So the Gemini Junior is nice because it feeds itself. Love that. Okay, anyway, I'm going to take an Avery Elle Simple Sentiment die. I don't think that's the right name. but there are dies that are in different sizes that cut out sentiments, and I'll link it below. It's wonderful. But I'm going to use that to cut out my sentiment, and then I took the same Copic markers that I used for my cacti flowers, and I'm going to die cut out a small heart over that. So those are the images we're going to use. We'll set those aside, and I think my background's just about dry. So I'm going to take a double stitched circle die. It's going to leave me stitch lines around the outside edge of my panel here. And we're not going to use the inside piece. We'll save that for another project. But I just die cut out a window and added foam tape on the reverse side. And then we're going to go ahead and place this in the center of our card base. Card base is a A2 size card base. Now we get to arrange our little scene. I'm going to use some foam squares to add a little dimension to our cacti. I'm going to add one to the bottom portion of this cacti and then two to the top portion. That way everything lays nice and even. For this one, I'm just going to add two. Lovely. And then we'll add a little piece of dimensional adhesive behind the heart and then also behind our sentiment. There's our little Valentine's Day card. New Year's Eve, typically we don't go out. I don't like to go out. We live in the country, so not like there's a lot of crazy drivers out there or any place to go. But we just usually stay home. Husband sits in front, watches a little bit of the tube, and then I usually do a little crafting. So that's my New Year's Eve tonight. Okay, I added a few little gems for a little bit of sparkle, and then I did decide to take my white gel pen and add a little bit of highlight to my colored in images. And usually when I draw lines over my colored in images, I'll draw a line and then I'll dot it a few times. That's just how I like it. It's a habit, I guess. But I think they look so cute. Now, I wanted to pull in a little bit more pink, so we're going to add some rosy cheeks to our happy little cacti. The Copic marker I'm using is R20, so it's going to be kind of subtle, especially in that green, but they have cute little rosy cheeks. Okay, and then finally for my finishing touch, I'm going to use some black and white baker's twine. I'm just going to pull it through the inside of my card base, and then we'll tie a bow to the left on the very top. And then I'm going to keep the tails of my bow a little bit on the longer side. I kind of wanted the color to come down a little bit. But that's my card for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for putting up with my chit chat. I think the more I do it, the easier it's going to be. But I wish you a fantastic New Year's. I think 2019 is going to be a great year, and I'm looking forward to sharing my craftiness with you guys. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.